So the possibility of peak oil demand for the supply chain will really mean continuing to do what they're doing, which is following where their clients and customers are going. So we already see this a bit now. We see some of the EMPs around the world move into and migrate into things like offshore wind in the near term, and maybe that is subsea mining in the long term. But there are certain subsets of the supply chain that are conducive to realizing a transition and kind of following their clients in that transition a little better than others. So whether they are part of the electronic cabling supply chain, or they are involved in manufacturing turbines, or provide installation services, or moving of this heavy equipment, it's low-hanging fruit for them to transition from traditional oil and gas and supplement when that is low with evolving into offshore wind and these other energy sources. So offshore technology is really probably one of the most interesting places in which peak oil demand can affect us. There are so many energy sources and even offshore that are untapped due to the immaturity of the technology needed to enable them. Innovating onshore technology can be expensive, but taking those innovations and marinizing them to go in 2,000 plus meters of water and then expected to perform at peak performance for decades can take that initial investment for that onshore application and make it look minimal to take that offshore. So that's something we really have to target, especially considering a lower commodity price that would come with a peak oil demand. The prospect of peak oil demand for the offshore supply chain really means innovation. Now, for better or for worse, we've kind of had a dry run with how to handle a lower commodity cost, which we've seen with this downturn is associated with a peak oil demand type of scenario. And what we'll really have to do is build on the lessons learned of this downturn. So we'll need to continue to innovate. We will need to continue to collaborate to find more cost-effective ways of doing business offshore.